Hi, everybody. It seems like a good day to do one of these again. It is a Saturday. I had to work today, and I am working on one of these things. And I am not much of a drinker per se. So once I'm done with that thing, I should be good for the night. But anyway, as it is a Saturday, it's a good excuse for me to go to the Goodwill near where I work, as I often seem to do when I work on Saturdays. Um, so the stuff that I got today will fall into two categories. The first is stuff that I got for myself that I was curious about or might be of interest to me in some way. And the second category of stuff of which I will definitely not show you every single record that I bought. And you'll understand why when we get there. But um, a good friend of mine sells stuff on eBay, um, and I found a bunch of stuff that he might want to sell. I know a little bit, a thing or two about some of the stuff that he buys and sells, and I think some of the stuff might be of interest to him economically in terms of the stuff that he can sell. So, we'll get to that later. But first, I guess there actually is a third category, and that is a couple of things that I got in the mail this week, which are not records, but are just a couple of CDs that I happen to get on Amazon because I very much enjoy buying used CDs on Amazon. I bought dozens of them. I'll make this quick. First, chronologically, but not the first that I purchased. But this is a one of the many live archival releases by King Crimson. This one is called The Night Watch. It was recorded in Amsterdam, live in Amsterdam in 1974. It is 2 discs, and I remember when I got this and pulled it out of the envelope in the mail, and it says that the total running time is 82 minutes, ergo slightly longer than will fit on one CD. And for some reason, when I saw that, I was just like, oh man, I don't know. I not that I felt cheated by it, but I just thought it was funny that it needs 2 discs because it's like slightly longer than one disc can even hold. And I guess there's some enhanced CD stuff on this, some video. I don't know what it is. This one came out in 1997. Second thing I got, probably like a week or two ago, was another King Crimson thing. This was the first of the two that I ordered. This one is called Absent Lovers, and this was recorded in 1980, I think 84, in Montreal. Apparently, back in the day, this was a radio broadcast that subsequently was heavily bootlegged, which I'm sure inspired the and influenced the release of this as an official CD. But this concert that's on these 2 discs, clocking it at 100 minutes, so they definitely needed 2 discs for this one. This was the final concert performed by the 1980s lineup of King Crimson with Adrian Belew, Tony Levin, Bill Bruford, and Robert Fripp. Um, you may be familiar with the Discipline album, which was their first album as this incarnation of King Crimson. That record came out the year I was born. I've owned it on vinyl twice, and I have a copy of it that's autographed by Adrian Belew. It is probably, maybe, I guess, one of my favorite albums of all time. Probably. I'm sure that has something to do with the fact that I've just heard it lots and lots when I was a kid and listened to it on my own because I really liked it when I was older. But that's a good record, and almost all of the songs from that album are on this, along with the other stuff from that period of the band, Three of a Perfect Pair and Beat, and maybe a couple of older things. There's actually a version of Red, the title track from the 1974 whatever album of that name, which was kind of a surprising thing for this lineup of the band to do. But anyway, last thing I got in the mail was this CD by Miko or Mako. I've never been sure on how you pronounce this. It's called The Bright Side. It was just released this year. She's a female singer-songwriter type, and I like a lot of that kind of stuff. Um, I liked her first album, although I felt slightly dirty even buying it because I believe it was co-released on MySpace Records. But it's got some good songs on it. She has a Day Trotter session on daytrotter.com. You should look up. That was the first thing of hers that I heard, and that's why I bought her first album. And I think the songs on that are maybe better takes than the ones on her first album, which have extra instrumentation. The Day Trotter session was just her and guitar and vocals. And obviously, I can't speak clearly enough, so I'm going to have another drink of this. Okay. Oh. If you didn't know, this stuff is disgusting. I don't drink it because it tastes good. I'll say that. You can piece the rest of it together on your own. Okay. This stuff, I just have a couple items here real quick. I did not actually buy today at the Goodwill. I actually bought it at the Goodwill, I think, like a couple months ago. But for some reason, it's just been sitting on the floor right in front of my stereo stuff. I don't know why I haven't put it away chronologically with the rest of the stuff that I bought. But this is just a couple little quick items that I bought at Goodwill. I don't even know when this was. I want to say it was probably in like March or April. But speaking of Day Trotter sessions, this is a artist that I first heard from them. This is a CD by Jesse Balin. It's called Fire Sight. Yes, Fire Sight. This is $2. It has a pink sticker on it. Whoops. Pink sticker. So I want to say it might have been 50% off that day, so this might have only cost me $1. Not totally sure. She's another female singer-songwriter type. I first heard of her on Day Trotter Session, and I think this has maybe 3 of the 4 songs that she did on that session. The other one was a cover of Rocky Raccoon by the Beatles from the White Album. This came out in 2008 on Verve / Universal. Verve is not really its own thing anymore. I don't know exactly how these giant labels work anymore, where Universal owns like 55 different record labels and whatever. And I got 2 records that day for $1, but they might have been 50 cents. I don't know what the color code of the price tags thing was that day. First is this record by Oh Happy Day. I think this is just some kind of private press thing. It says manufactured by Wright Record Productions of Cincinnati, Ohio, way down in southern Ohio. I live in Northeast Ohio. Okay, the actual label was Miracle Groove Recordings, and their mailing address is in Anderson, Indiana. This appears to be some kind of folk rock thing. I think it's probably Jesus-y in some way, but I can't be totally sure until I listen to it. But just judging by a couple of the song titles, I'm going to think that it has a sort of a, church rock or church folk rock Christian kind of influence on it. But, 3 years from now when I listen to it, maybe I'll let you know. But by now, by then, I bet you I'm not still doing these stupid things. This is a thing that every home should have for $1 or less. The absolute classic Chipmunk Punk, which contains no punk whatsoever, but contains the Chipmunks versions of kind of new wave, kind of hits of the day. This was released in 1980 and includes songs like My Sharona and Good Girls Don't by the Knack, Refugee by Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, Billy Joel's You May Be Right. That's probably the thing I'm most enthusiastic about hearing on this stupid record, which, I've heard it before, but I haven't heard it in a long time. It's really a stone cold classic by anyone's yardstick. But there's a You May Be Right by Billy Joel is, for some reason, the song I'm most enthusiastic about hearing on this stupid record that I would be willing to bet you could find at a thrift store near you without too much trouble for $1 or less. Okay, that old shit is out of the way. Now, some stuff that I bought today. Of course, the dumbest thing that I bought was more blank cassettes. I found 2 60-minute cassettes. There were, for some reason, like a shitload of cassettes in there today at the Goodwill. I wasn't going to go through all of them. The ones that I did look at, I didn't find anything interesting. But here's a Maxell UR60 from, late 90s, judging from the packaging. It's when I bought most of my blank tapes, was the late 90s and early 00s when they were still fairly plentiful. This packaging obviously dates from then. On the other hand, is this Memorex DBS. It says 90 minutes right here, but it says 60 right here. I'm not sure what the deal with that. Oh, and it says 60 on the cassette too. Oh, wait, I take that back. 90 meters, not 90 minutes. For some reason, Memorex, and I think Maxell and maybe TDK too, always felt compelled to tell you how many meters of magnetic tape were contained in the shell. So that's why it says 90 M. It's 90 meters, 60 minutes. I kind of miss seeing these colorful cassette shells. I have no idea when's the last time they even manufactured these things. I'm sure like the mid to late 90s. But I used to buy these, back in the day, didn't we all? With the yellow cover, which does not contain enough space to write all the songs that would fit on a 90-minute cassette, but maybe a 60-minute cassette. And the last important thing that I bought today was a VHS. Is the Beatles, actually. And I believe this was on the British television program Ready, Steady, Go. This cost me $1. And it's 20 minutes long, despite the number of songs that it seems to contain. This tape is only 20 minutes long. Recorded live in 1964, I assume on Ready, Steady, Go. It contains in full Twist and Shout, Roll Over Beethoven, I Want to Be Your Man, and Long Tall Sally. 3 of those 4 are covers. And it also contains a medley of songs you would probably prefer to hear by the Beatles, some of the classics. There's a medley of Love Me Do, Please Please Me, From Me to You, She Loves You, I Want to Hold Your Hand, Can't Buy Me Love, and Shout. Now, the interesting thing, in a sense, is the song Shout by the Isley Brothers, which I'm sure that at some point in your life you have heard, because it goes, you know you make me want to shout, put my hands up and shout, kick my heels back and shout, etc., etc. Obviously, if you've ever seen Animal House, you've ever heard it, or if you've ever listened to a radio station in your entire lifetime that plays music prior to 1970, obviously you've heard it. Or, on a commercial for Shout detergent, maybe? I don't know. But I guess the interesting thing about that is that the Beatles never actually released on a record a version or a cover of the song Shout, but it exists in this live performance from Ready, Steady, Go, which lasts 20 minutes, was recorded in 1964, and cost me $1 at the Goodwill near where I work today. Now, boy, I was way out of the frame there. Now, I have a couple things, and excuse me while I duck out of the frame again. I have a couple of things which I bought for me that seemed interesting in some way, or that, whatever, I was curious about in some way. And I'll show those to you. An album by It's a Beautiful Day was released on Columbia, obviously in the late 60s, judging by the label, which we discussed in a previous edition when I bought all those records from the 60s, and the typeface on the back cover, I can tell. I'll preface this by saying, obviously, every single one of these records was $1. So I promise you I will never again mention in this video these cost $1 because it's been established. We know that they were $1. None of these are so amazing that you can't believe they cost $1, unlike some of the ones I bought before, which seem pretty cool. And it's like, wow, $1 for this. These cost $1 because they should. They're nothing so amazing that you can't believe they were $1. So we'll establish that now and move on with our lives and these records from the Goodwill. Anyway, It's a Beautiful Day. This is on Columbia. I don't know anything about this. I'm not sure exactly what I thought was so curious about it that I wanted to buy it. It was there the last time I went to Goodwill. I saw this and didn't buy it. So it's been there, and it belongs with some of those records that I bought before because right here on the cover, it has written the name Rebecca McCrae, and that very same name was on some of those records that I bought the last time. Obviously, so from the same collection of the same vintage. Again, like I said, I really don't know anything about this. I think, I think that at one time, at some point, that Tom Fowler, who was a bass player who played with Frank Zappa and the Mothers from 1973 to 1975. I think at some point he was in this band, but he's definitely not on this record. I have no idea what this sounds like. I'm sure it's folk rock crap. But, in 4.5 years when I listen to this record, we'll see how it goes. Okay. Look, I found another Isaac Hayes record for $1. Oh, God, fuck me. I just said it was $1. We're not going to do that anymore. I found another Isaac Hayes record at the Goodwill. This one is called Joy. Curiously, this is like the third Isaac Hayes record I've found at this Goodwill. I wonder if they all came from the same person, but that doesn't make any sense because if they did all come from the same person, it doesn't make any sense that I would have bought these three like months apart from each other. One of them I bought like 2 years ago, and one of them I bought the last time I was there, a month or two ago, and this one today. Anyway, this one's called Joy. It came out in 1973 on a subsidiary of Stax. It only has 4 songs on it because Lord knows that Isaac Hayes in the mid-70s loved those extended romantic funk jams. But definitely, I love the fact that the back cover of this showcases Isaac in his cape made of chains, which you can observe on some of his records from the mid-70s. I don't know how many. I know I definitely have a live record of his recorded at a casino, a hotel of some sort, where he's wearing this cape made out of chains in many live shots. I don't know how often he wore it on record covers, but definitely on this one. So, and the record, it's in okay condition, obviously, so I brought it home. What else do we got? The Chad Mitchell Trio was basically an acoustic folk trio from the 60s. I don't know a whole lot about them, and I don't have a whole lot of interest in like acoustic folk from the 60s and 50s or anything like that. The only thing I really know about the Chad Mitchell Trio is that at one point in time, John Denver was in the trio, and I think it's possible that at that point in time that Chad Mitchell wasn't even in the Chad Mitchell Trio anymore. I don't know that for a fact, but my friend Nick, who sells the records on eBay that I got for him, I think he told me that. And years ago, he made me a mix CD, which included a song by the Chad Mitchell Trio called The I Was Not a Nazi Polka, which is definitely not on this record. But, it's a thing. This is released on Mercury. I have no idea when, in the 60s, obviously, at some point. It was in okay condition. This was just a thing that I bought for me to probably listen to once and go like, whatever. And probably never listen to it again. Oh, not that it matters, but this album is called Reflecting. That's all I got for that one. This is a double album, a 2-record set by Rod McCune called Pastoral or Pastoral or Pastorale. I'm not sure exactly how it's supposed to go, but this is on Warner Brothers. When I took it out of the sleeve, the records have green labels, so it's from like I want to say like very late 60s, early 70s. I do not know anything about this guy, Rod McCune. The name sounds kind of familiar, but I don't even know exactly what it is. Some kind of folk thing, I guess. But this has members of the Westminster Symphony Orchestra on it. And it has this booklet in it with a color cover where Rod McCune is chasing a sheepdog of some sort. And in the booklet is basically just photos of him riding a horse and petting his sheepdog. Here's a photo of a duck. that's about all that's going on in this booklet. This record is from 1971, as I just read on the back of the booklet. So I was right about the green labels. Um, and yeah, I don't know what this is, and I have a feeling it's not really even going to be very good. I don't think I'll even like it. I'm not sure. Um, what did I just see on here? I thought I just saw that this record contains the song Across the Universe by the Beatles. It does. For some strange reason, it's titled Nothing's Going to Change My World, and then in parentheses, Across the Universe, which is the actual title of the song. I don't know why he had to go all parenthetical on it. But this just kind of looked to be in like really good condition, or like, really good condition for a Goodwill, but like, pretty good. Um, I may not like this when I listen to it. It doesn't really look like the kind of thing I'll like at all. But I guess there exists the possibility that, well, basically when I picked this up, I thought it might be something that my friend Nick could sell on eBay. But if he can't, I mean, I'm going to listen to it myself first. If he can't, who cares? I mean, that's why I sort of moved this from the category of stuff I got for him into the category of stuff that I got for me. Because I don't know if he can sell it, and I don't know if I'll like it. So we'll just say it's for me. And the last thing, drink time. Gross. The last thing, and this is kind of the weirdest thing that I found. This is a record called David Frost on Nursing. David Frost was a British television personality and interviewer. You may know a little about him from the film Frost/Nixon, which is a dramatization of the interviews that he did with Richard Nixon in the mid-70s or whatever that was. But for some reason, David Frost made this record called On Nursing. And you can see here on the cover, there are nurses. There's a little baby of some sort with hospital personnel. There's a kid in dual casts. He must have got hit by a car and got really fucked up or something to have both of his legs and casts all the way up to the thigh. Who knows what happened to this kid? But now I live in Northeast Ohio. I think this has been established. This record was a product of some sort of University Hospitals of Cleveland. And when I looked at this record in the Goodwill, basically what it is David Frost kind of narrating and doing these interview bits with these nurses from Cleveland University Hospitals. What a weird thing to make a record about. I do not know when this came out, and it's obviously just some kind of weird private press affair from University Hospitals in Cleveland. The catalog number on the back cover is UH101, so probably the first and possibly only record ever released by University Hospitals of Cleveland. But it has this, like, this thing you can mail in. This, like, business reply thing that basically, it says, recently several university hospitals RNs had the opportunity to sit with TV's David Frost to discuss nursing. Obviously, that's what the record is. And right here, it has this response card that I guess you're supposed to fill out and mail in. It says, if after you've listened to David Frost on nursing, you agree with what's been said and would like to comment further, please do. You disagree, we'd like to know why. If you'd like to know more about UH and what we do, just check this block. It has these three little boxes and a space for comments and a business reply card. This is just the kind of weird fucking thing you should find at a Goodwill, and whether it's of any value, and this is one thing, I mean, like I've said before, I've bought stuff at eBay, or I've bought stuff on, fuck me, I'm a little bit drunk. I've bought stuff at Goodwill. I do not know what the fuck it really is, and at some point I should research it online or look for it on eBay or whatever. And a lot of those things I haven't yet because my policy is basically when I get around to listening to the record, then I'll look it up. But this is one thing I definitely have to research this as soon as possible and find out what is the story with this thing. Okay, now we're going to move on to the boring part. Like I said, I'm not going to show you all of these records because they're not that interesting really to most people watching, but I'm going to give you a quick thing because obviously I paid money for these stupid things. I spent like $29.58 at Goodwill today, and the bulk of it was on this stack of records right here. Now, the reason I bought all these is because, with one exception, every single one of these is sealed. And they are all classical records. And if they're not strictly classical, they're definitely of an old people music type of some sort. Now, the reason that I bought most of these is because they are on London and they are Phase 4 stereo LPs, which I have been ringing a little bit. Can't tell you a lot about, but there was definitely a period of London records, vinyl pressings that are somewhat, maybe not sought after, but there certainly are people that go on eBay and look for Phase 4 stereo pressings because they, I guess, were like a slightly higher quality pressing than regular London stereo LPs. And also, the Phase 4 division of London stereo was they did a lot of classical releases and show tunes, I guess, and maybe stuff like that. So I'm just going to kind of try to get through these and just show you a couple of things that I thought were kind of interesting, and I bought, number one, because they were sealed, but they also were kind of interesting for some reason. This is on like a weird label I know nothing about, Westminster Gold. I don't know what it is, but it's classical. This is Rimsky-Korsakov, and this is Ravel's Bolero with some pieces by Dukas and Fala, I guess. Wait, were these just movements of Bolero? I don't know what the fuck this is. But strangely, this is a 2-record set, but this is not really a 2-record set specifically. It's 2 different records that are just shrink wrapped together in one package. I don't know what that's about. Please forgive me. Kurt Adelhagen and his orchestra, Entry of the Nations. Now, this is from 1972. It's on Polydor. It's sealed, and this record consists of the theme songs for all of these countries in the 1972 Olympics. Apparently, a couple of people, three writers are credited here for composing and arranging all of these pieces for each and every country in the 1972 Olympics. This is like their entrance music, to put it in pro wrestling terms, kind of. And I actually have and found 2 copies of this. To whom this would be of interest, I do not know. But maybe people who collect like Olympic related things, or specifically 1972 Olympics related things, I don't know. But I found 2 sealed copies of this thing, and that's what it is. Here's an Arthur Fiedler record. Andre Segovia, the classical guitarist, Castles of Spain. This is a sealed record on Decca, and it's he plays some stuff, whatever. Lenny D. This record is called Easy Lovin'. It's not sure why that made me laugh. Maybe because I just thought of the song Easy Lover by Phil Collins and Philip Bailey. This is on Decca, and it's sealed. Seems like a thing somebody could sell. It contains songs such as Take Me Home, Country Roads, Superstar, Coal Miner's Daughter, The Night They Drove Old Dixie Down. That's the one that caught my attention. I have 3 LPs that are on Angel, which is basically a classical label distributed by EMI. These are just whatever. They're not really specifically important. This has some Stravinsky on it, but otherwise, who cares? Now, all of the rest of these, and I'm going to see real quick, I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. I have 14 LPs here that are on London. They're London Phase 4 LPs. They're all sealed. And I'm just going to peek through these real quick and see if any of them are of interest to show you. Actually, here's one. I have 2 copies of this. It's Zubin Mehta, who is the conductor of the Los Angeles Philharmonic. For how long, I do not know. But this is called Hits from the Hollywood Bowl. And apparently it has Bolero on it and some Tchaikovsky and whatever else. I have 2 copies of this. One is not sealed. It's in the shrink, but I took the record out and it looks pretty nice. I think this would be sellable if anybody wanted to buy it. I don't know who would want to. But the only real difference that I see specifically right off the bat from this is one just says London and the other one says London FFRR, which stands for Full Frequency Range Recording, which was another sort of like slightly upscale audiophile thing from the 60s and 70s that they were supposed to be on better vinyl and sound better for, you know, classical and easy listening consumers, basically. Here's the thing. Okay, here's one. This is music from Fiddler on the Roof. That it is what it is. Obviously, I'm not really, you know, we've talked about before about how for some reason I've bought records from musicals. I've never heard Fiddler on the Roof. I don't know anything about it, but I do love this, you know, like very, very jolly Jewish gentleman on the cover with his vest and everything. Tchaikovsky, Dvorak, Marilyn Horne sings Carmen. Okay, that's a thing. What else we got here? Grieg Lyric Suite. Ooh, this was kind of a fun one. I sort of wish I could listen to this, and if you're a Simpsons fan, you'll understand why. This is a London Phase 4 pressing, a recording of Gilbert and Sullivan's HMS Pinafore, which you might know from, you know, some of the tunes from, I don't remember the name of it, but it's one of the Sideshow Bob episodes with where he sings songs from the HMS Pinafore. So this is a recording of that. Here's some Strauss. A record just called The Impressionists, which contains Debussy and Ravel and a one piece by Arthur Honegger. And now this was probably the best one in a way because it has basically one of the creepiest record covers I've ever seen in my life. This is a recording of Stravinsky's Petrushka, which I think I have 1 or 2 recordings of. Not that I'm a giant fan of classical music, but I have some classical records. I listen to them rarely, but whatever. Sometimes you find them, and, you know, I'm a Zappa fan. So if it's Stravinsky or like something that I associate with Zappa or that he was a fan of, I'll buy it. If I find it for $1, whatever, give it a listen. But I love this cover, and I also think it might give me nightmares. Soak this in. Just let this little Petrushka soak in. Now, Petrushka, I believe, is, you know, although it's an instrumental, you know, symphony, whatever piece, it's the narrative is about a puppet of some sort, if I recall correctly. This definitely is a puppet / doll of some kind here with its creepy little hands and jointed legs. But even if this was not sealed, and even if it was not in the best condition, I probably would still pay $1 for this cover at the very least. So that's a thing. Those are some things. And I do believe this video went on longer than I intended. But if you enjoy this kind of thing, I will be making more in the future. Because I definitely have 2 piles of records that are older than this stuff that I haven't gotten around to yet. But anyway, I don't know who watches these things, if anyone. But, you know, leave a comment. I would appreciate that if this is of any interest to you. Or just say that you liked it. Push the little button that has the thumb on it. And go, like, if you enjoyed this for some strange reason. I'm not sure why you would. So there were some records from Goodwill. Got more to show you in the future. But for now, we're done with this thing. I am going to sit at my desk, basically, for the whole rest of the night. I'm going to finish off this thing. And if I am feeling particularly bold, I may even have another one. There is no good reason why I ever should. But we'll just see how things go once I'm done with this. And now you know that I'm white trash. But for now, goodbye. Thank you for watching, and bye-bye.